You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to raise your voice, dominate a room, or prove yourself all the time to feel respected. Real power doesn't scream. It doesn't need attention. Real power moves with calm, clarity, and control. And that kind of power, it starts inside. Most people think Machiavelli was this cold, ruthless mastermind who taught people how to manipulate and dominate. But that's not really the truth. If you actually pay attention to what he was saying, you'll realize he wasn't promoting cruelty. He was promoting lucidity. He was teaching people how to survive in a world that is, by nature, unfair and unpredictable. He wasn't asking you to betray your values. He was warning you not to get destroyed by people who have none. That might sound extreme, but let's be real. How many times have you given more than you received, just because you didn't want to hurt someone's feelings? How many times have you stayed silent to keep the peace and ended up swallowing your own needs in the process? The truth is, in our desire to be good people, many of us have learned to make ourselves small, available, predictable, and easy to carry, even when it drains us. Machiavelli didn't want you to stop being good. He wanted you to stop being naive. Rule number 1 is simple but hard for many people. Never show all your cards. In friendships, in relationships, at work, even with family, you do not need to be fully transparent all the time. We live in a world that romanticizes vulnerability, but not everyone deserves access to your inner world. There is strength in being unreadable, especially in environments where people are quick to judge, compare, or use what you share against you. That doesn't mean becoming fake. It just means keeping certain things sacred. Your plans, your insecurities, your next move, protect them. When people know everything about you, you become predictable. And predictable people are easy to box in, easy to overlook, and unfortunately, easy to manipulate. Think about how easy it is to overshare online. You post something vulnerable on Instagram or TikTok, and suddenly strangers have opinions on your life. Or you announce a goal too early, and the discouragement or passive-aggressive comments start rolling in. Sometimes, even close friends make jokes that stick with you longer than they should. Or maybe you're at a party with people you barely know, and you talk about your struggles too openly, and it gets awkward fast. Silence isn't being secretive. It's just knowing your value. It's choosing your timing, your audience, and your boundaries. Rule 2, don't react. Observe first. That's easier said than done, especially when emotions kick in. Someone disrespects you. Your instinct is to clap back. Someone disappoints you. Your first thought is to demand an answer. But reacting impulsively is exactly what keeps you on the defensive. Power doesn't come from reaction. It comes from pause, from stillness, from the space between what happened and how you choose to respond. Let's say you're in a group chat and someone makes a snarky comment about you. You feel that heat in your chest, ready to defend yourself. But what happens if you say nothing? Or better yet, respond hours later with a calm, clear message that isn't emotional but sharp in meaning? People notice. The whole energy changes. Same thing when a classmate takes credit for your idea in a group project, or a coworker subtly throws you under the bus. Instead of reacting in front of everyone, keep your cool. Take notes. Move with precision. Being the calmest person in the room often gives you the most control over it. The third rule is about value, specifically protecting yours. If you're always available, always saying yes, always making space for everyone else's needs before your own, you'll start to notice something. People will stop seeing you. Or rather, they'll stop seeing your worth. That's not because you're not valuable. It's because value fades when it's treated like it has no boundaries. Imagine this. Your friend texts you every time they're going through something, and you're always there. But when you need support, they don't answer. Or maybe you're the one in your group who plans every outing, checks in with everyone, but no one ever does the same for you. Over time, that imbalance chips away at you. Even online, if you're constantly replying to everyone instantly, always available on DMs, people stop thinking about your time as something valuable. You become an option, not a priority. So start small. Take a few hours before replying if you're not in the right mindset. Say no to going out when your body's tired. Protect your time like you protect your money, because if you don't, nobody else will. Rule 4. Make peace with not being liked. This is probably the hardest one, because it goes against everything we're taught. From a young age, we're conditioned to be agreeable, to not make waves, to keep the peace, smile, fit in. But being liked is not the same as being respected. And often, the more you chase being liked, the further you drift from your own integrity. Sometimes this shows up in dating. You start changing the way you talk, what you post, even your interests, just to keep someone's attention. Or at school, you laugh at jokes that make you uncomfortable just to stay in the group. You avoid saying what you really think at work because you don't want to come off as difficult. But all of this slowly erodes your self-respect. Being real will always offend someone. But losing yourself just to be accepted? That costs way more. There will be moments where speaking your truth upsets people, where saying no makes someone uncomfortable, where choosing yourself looks selfish to those who are used to your self-sacrifice. Let it. You cannot control how people interpret your boundaries, but you can control whether or not you betray yourself to please them. It's okay if your decisions disappoint others. It's okay if someone doesn't understand why you're pulling back. Not everyone will have access to your why, and they don't need to. Your peace does not require explanation. Respect is rooted in clarity, not in compromise. The final rule, and maybe the most important, always stay 2 steps ahead. This is not about paranoia. It's about awareness, about reading situations before they unfold, understanding patterns, and preparing yourself. People often confuse strategy with manipulation, but they are not the same. Manipulation is selfish and dishonest. Strategy is intelligent and intentional. You can be a good person and still be strategic. In fact, you must, because life will keep throwing curveballs, and if you're only ever reacting in the moment, you'll always be playing catch-up. Start paying attention to how people move, not just what they say. Watch for patterns, not promises. Be curious, not naive. Let's say you're getting to know someone romantically. At first, everything is amazing. But how do they act when things don't go their way? Do they guilt you, pull back, blame you? Or maybe at work, someone is overly kind and complimentary until you succeed at something they wanted. How do they treat you then? These small shifts reveal the truth. And when you learn to spot them early, you stop walking blindly into chaos. You don't need to change who you are to protect yourself. You just need to stop giving everything away so easily. Be kind but not exposed. Be open but not predictable. Be generous but not limitless. That's not cold, that's clarity. That's what real power looks like. Machiavelli wasn't teaching people how to be bad. He was teaching them how to not get destroyed by their own goodness. There's a difference. And if more of us learned to move with both heart and strategy, we'd stop burning out in silence. So here's the truth. Power doesn't start with control over others. It starts with control over yourself, with knowing when to speak and when to stay silent, when to stay and when to walk away, when to hold space and when to protect it. You don't need to raise your voice. You need to raise your standards. And once you do that, you'll start to notice something shift. People will sense it. You'll stop being the one they call only when they need something. You'll stop being the emotional sponge for everyone else's chaos. You'll stop being the one who gets overlooked because you no longer allow it. You'll become someone who doesn't just survive the world. You'll move through it on your own terms. Calm, clear, unshakable. If this spoke to you, don't just keep it in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share this with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.